A very good morning to you. Finally, it's Friday. Well, we came here on Monday. It looks like Friday was never going to come, but here we are. It's upon us now, right? Good to see you again. Fifth working day of the week. I'm Wiyag Mofwegbe, and Juma Rekia Marson is in a gladiator kind of outfit today. I think the only thing you don't have on now is just the complements of the gear that protects your face, your head. Then maybe we need to give you a sword. What do you say to that?
Well, my love, please be careful with me today.
I'm making the effort, but you're not appreciating it.
But it's a beautiful Friday. I don't know why I'm excited when I'm going to come to work tomorrow. Why am I excited?
It means your instincts already tell you that it's going to be an amazing weekend.
Well, according to E, I'm in a gladiator outfit.
Right.
Please, don't do that. Don't insult fashion. It's called a kimono. Can you pronounce it?
Kimono. I tried.
Good morning, Uya. Good morning to each and every one of you out there. It's great to be here. I am Jumai Manson, and my co-host has decided that he's going to crack me up this morning. It's fine. It's a beautiful day.
It is. I agree. Totally. Yes, I do.
And we're thankful.
We have to be. I mean,
Yes.
We've been here long enough to be doing this again for the often time,
Yes.
which incidentally is something we have to be grateful for. And I
Yes.
realize that you and I have hosted Global Morning for well over 2 years now.
Oh, yes, we
and
have.
it still feels like yesterday. And
Yes, it does.
I see that as a huge privilege, right? Because come to think of it, like I said, you have no idea how time flies until when you pause for a second, take a look over your shoulder and realize that you've really come a long way.
And I want God. I always tell people to be grateful for what you have,
Right.
and to thank God for individuals who recognize your effort and always say, "Well done. I love your style of presentation.
Right.
I love what you do." It gives you that edge to always want to show up and want to do more. Like, Global Morning is a program that it starts really early in the day. Our day starts very early. You have to ensure that you are here on time. It's time framed. So once you have bosses who acknowledge what you do, it goes a long way in giving that push and always wanting to give your best, no matter, even if it's not your very beautiful day, but you must always show up looking like, hey, it's your day. You have to be professional. It's very important. They say professionalism is key.
It is.
So even when you're having a rough day or a bad day, but you just have to keep it up and make sure you do your best to deliver.
Well, nothing more to add to that. Incidentally, it's also the Sickle Cell Day, which of course is very pivotal across the world. World Sickle Cell Day, which is observed every 19th of June. Across the world. And when we have this sort of conversation, it reminds us of people around us, those we love, those we care about, those we are closely associated with, who are dealing with this scourge. And of course, we also need to be grateful for those who have been able to fight it to a standstill, those who are surviving the odds. Because it's not very common to find such.
No.
It turns out one of such persons will also be joining us this morning to talk about what the journey has been like. But in all of that, one of the things we're seeing being highlighted now is how that you have a chunk of inaccurate lab results also worsening this plight.
Yes.
You can imagine, I mean, this is supposed to be scientific. So when you now have a situation where lab results are not precise and not accurate, it means that the experience is going to be such that a bad situation is getting worse.
It is. It's very unfortunate. Individuals living with this, like call it disease, sickle cell. Have you witnessed the pain in which a sickle cell patient goes through? I have friends, Dubemi, still rest in peace. I have amazing friends who have passed on due to this particular. It's not easy peasy.
Right.
It's a very sad and painful thing to watch. It's a very sad and very painful thing to watch. The pain. And when the doctor tried to explain it, he says, okay, there are sometimes when you feel numb on your hands. This is like blood not flowing your legs at all. So you can imagine what that means.
Like the person has been administered anesthesia, so anesthetics.
I think that is even better compared to the pain in which they go through.
Totally numb,
and then it's painful at the same time.
Right.
it takes a toll on one. And that is why when I counsel young individuals, I tell them, please, if you're going to get married, for as much as I know love is important, but you have to check, you have to know your blood type, your blood group, not just for you now, but for your children, the ones that you're going to bring to this world. You want them to go through this. I have a godson who dated someone for almost 5 years. And then the next thing you know, when he was in the university, he went to one of these prestigious universities. And of course, he's a military person. And then the next thing you know, his blood group, he says he's AA. And everyone was like, okay, he's AA. So he meets a girl who is SS. And he was like, fine, no problem. We can get married. As long as our kids will be AS, it's fine. Fast forward now, one of his uncles just said, go and do your blood test. He was like, no, I already know. Since university, I already know. There's no problem and all of that. The next thing you know, they've done the introduction, they're about to get married. He says, okay, let him just go and check. And he realizes that he's a yes.
Again, it comes down to the inaccurate lab results.
Exactly, inaccurate lab. That's what, inaccurate lab results. So we have to be very careful when it comes to that. For as much as, well, it might be prestigious, or do 2 checks, 3 checks to be sure.
I think even in medical lab science, there's something called confirmatory tests. So you've done one, it says this is the position. Most times medical experts would advise that you do a second, they call it confirmatory test, just so you can have comparison of opinions.
Yes.
Because again, these are issues that are extremely sensitive. Otherwise, somebody would have to explain how that the young man is in the university, he does a test that says he's A,
and the next thing
a couple of years down the line, another test says he's AS.
Yes.
All right. For someone like me, I would probably even do a third.
He did.
Just to be, because you see,
and it's confirmed AS. And like,
so it's quite sad.
No,
your spouse has to deal with the pain. Your children coming from behind you have to deal with the pain. Of course, you also have to deal with the pain because you are already dealing with a lot health-wise, being the patient, and then the spouse and all of that. But in the case of Nigeria, we hear that another layer of challenge that makes it worse is access to quality care.
Exactly.
And for people who have been, if you like, fortunate or privileged enough to have moved abroad, they realize that there's a gulf between the experience you have here in terms of Medicare and what you experience when you go abroad.
Very
which
true.
Again points to the fact that our system is broken and needs to be fixed.
Yes, I like how you ended that. Our system is broken and needs urgent fixing, because the truth is there's a wide gap between an individual who is sickle cell anemic and then here who is Nigeria. The care and support in which that individual gets abroad is way different. I'm talking about in America now, you get, in fact, all hands are on deck. You have your private rooms, there are nurses running around. I have family friends, so I see these things, we know these things, and we see the kind of care that they have, and it's mind-blowing. And if you see someone here, the difference is just so wide. And the person, I know someone who is sickle cell anemic, and she's almost 60, and she's abroad, and she's doing very well. She has 2 amazing children. She's doing very well for herself, although she has those, but not as bad as it was when she was younger. But at least she is living life. She's 60, so that's something to be thankful and grateful for, and by the grace of God, many more amazing years. So the thing is, there's a wide range, and then you see how lots of individuals who are sickle cell here in Nigeria, you see them dying so young. 18, 19, 20, oh goodness. It's not because they cannot live longer, but because there's no proper care. I always say, and access to good medical drugs. There's some drugs that they need, but access, it's a problem. It's a challenge, yes.
Quite frankly, this is something that's going to take some very sizable amount of our time on the program today. Hopefully it doesn't just become another, if you like, razzmatazz, the traditional ceremonial elements that we see every other year. Hopefully we're able to have the right conversations, given where we are today as a country. Why is it that we're unable to provide as much resources in terms of providing the required health services to people who are dealing with sickle cell anemia as they have when they move abroad? Because ultimately you and I know for sure that not everybody has the resources to move away from Abuja to Lagos, let alone to leave Africa altogether.
Exactly.
So to that extent, it simply means that if we are really sincere about addressing this menace, as I'd like to call it, because that's what it is, we've got to be sincere with ourselves enough to say, look, we have gaps here and here, And these are the things we intend to do going forward. We break it into, if you like, terms, short term, medium term, long term, because government must be able to address health-specific challenges.
Very important.
If you make roads, if you, build schools, and amazing initiatives, no doubt, but people have to be alive long enough to be able to enjoy those facilities.
Yes.
And as it stands today, sickle cell anemia is one of those issues that we're dealing with. And to even think that you have parents who have more than one child living with sickle cell anemia, it's crazy.
It is.
We can blame the parents all we want to for making that choice to get married, to go ahead with the idea of living together as a couple. But when it's all said and done, it's quite clear that where we are today is that they have to look after children who are sickle cell anemic.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, like I always tell people, health guide, I spoke about this because it's very important to me, this particular issue of sickle cell. And I said it can be avoided. And that is why awareness is key. It's very important that you're aware. You can avoid it completely.
Right.
You can. It's easier. It's not like you cannot get married. You might say, it's not a must that you must marry someone with the same blood group as yours, SS. You can still marry someone that is AA and still have AS, which is still good compared to having SS. So it's avoidable. So for individuals out there, parents should be very sure when your children bring home their spouse or the fiance or fiancé, they must go to that blood check. Is very important, please, to avoid all of this, crisis in the future, like I always say.
To avoid what they call stories that touch. Right?
Aha.
All right. Of course, we'll be talking about politics as well on the program today. We'll be looking at issues around latest developments in our country, some of them economic. For example, the federal government has now officially come out to say, look, the IMF has recommended that we impose taxes on telecommunications and petrol products.
Okay.
But then we are not considering that at all. And that report that claims that is the position or direction of the federal government
It's false.
It's false.
Yes.
It's baseless and
Yes.
it's fake news. So
Good.
just wave it off with the left hand, right? That's what the federal government is saying.
Yes.
The federal government also says that the IMF did not categorically, specifically say you've got to pursue taxes on these products or services. What you've got to do is to take a second look at how these sectors work and see how much more you can derive from them by way of taxation. Therefore, the federal government is not under obligation to the IMF or any multilateral institution to carry out such recommendations. Again, there's a reason it's called recommendation. It's not as if the federal government owes the IMF such an obligation and things like that. But you see, when this happens, even the best of economists or social development experts will tell you that, look, every time a government sounds like this, especially in the so-called third world,
They're getting there.
they are already in the middle of implementing what they've recommended, or they're about to get started with implementation.
Very true.
You see, so what does that say now? It now says that the federal government has a lot of work on its hands to prove Nigerians and indeed every other person wrong who before now had thought that was exactly what the government was about to do. Because we had seen several recommendations that the IMF, the World Bank had made in the past, and the government said, look, we're not even touching this recommendation with a 1,000-foot pole. We are not interested. And you wake up the next morning and news headlines are flying all over the place saying that the federal government has said X, Y, Z. So we're saying this to say that the federal government understands better. They say who wears the shoe knows where it pinches.
True.
So the federal government should know where exactly it hurts for Nigerians right now.
At this moment, at
Right.
this
It's
critical
been 3
time.
years of the Tinubu administration.
Yes.
All right. So nobody in this government, including the president himself, can feign ignorance about the socio-economic pain that Nigerians are dealing with. Therefore, if you now decide to introduce taxes on whatever kind of product or service, whether it's telecoms or petrol products, what you're doing invariably is to say that, look, you have not suffered enough. We think there's needs to suffer a little longer.
Oh, come on. Like, I know so many Nigerians who, like, I'm sure looking at you right now and saying, goodness, we hope this is not true. Because at this point, I think we should be the government should be in a position whereby you should always speak through to power. So people take your words seriously, because a lot is ongoing economically, individuals, financially, a lot is going on. People are finding it really hard. People are practically struggling to survive. underline that word struggling. So it's a lot. It's going to take a toll. And with this dilly-dally when it comes to issues like that, you said, it's already either in the pipeline or it's going to be an implementation. I'm just saying. It's just, I hope it's not. I hope it doesn't get there. But I hope the government understands the plight of individuals. We, the citizens, let me say, not individuals, we, you and I, citizens, what individuals are going through, the struggle to survive. And with this again, it's going to really take a toll. And come on, we all know that take-home pay at this point can't even do much when it comes to rent, when it comes to feeding, food, transportation, and that is a lot.
It is.
That is a lot. That is a lot. I hope it's not true, and I just hope it's false. I hope it doesn't carry any weight, like there's nothing like that, because we already have a lot that we're dealing with, really a lot. So I hope it doesn't get to that point. Hopefully, I'm sure millions of Nigerians are praying, like you and I, it doesn't get to that point. But I think the federal government should reconsider and try as much as possible to make living, douse the issue and the stress of all of this that we're going through at this point. Really, we do not need more. We cannot bite more than we can chew, and it's getting to that point that I think most Nigerians are biting more than they can chew, because it's taking a toll on so many households, on Nigerians. Then compared to those who do not even have a source of income, it's taking a toll economically. It's taking a big toll.
Those in the job market.
Oh my goodness! I was speaking to a friend of mine who is based abroad, and he said something. I said, "Do you know there are people 3 years, 5 years, even after a job?" He said, Chiba, you know what we're talking about? Do you know when I left the university? Over 20 years, 30 years, there are people that have not gotten jobs 30 years, and they've been, and it's so sad. It's a serious problem. It is a serious problem, and please, government should always speak truth to power. It's very important so we can take your words seriously and let it carry weight when you speak, please. Please, this should not even come close to anyone's doorstep. No one wants to hear this.
Of course. I think the government understands better. Perhaps that's why it's trying to do some sort of damage control.
Hopefully.
By denouncing that report. All right. What more can I say? It's a Friday morning.
Yes, it is.
Hopefully, we are not fasting.
I think we should, because you've been very naughty this morning.
Well, no. You can't punish people with food.
Yes, I know, I'm just kidding. But yes, and with all of this, I'm hungry when it comes to this issue.
I can't blame you.
You can't blame me, right? So let's tilt over to taste and texture. And no, I'm not going to tell you what we're having. You just have to find out yourself. At about this time is the taste and texture segment. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is Saada Tugarba, your creative chef. In today's episode of the program, we'll be making chips in egg. Chips and egg is the ultimate breakfast consumed in Nigerian homes. The delicious richness of the potatoes pairs nicely with the egg and other ingredients that you'd love to make this over and over again. Ingredients: potatoes, 4 eggs, chopped onions, chopped scotch bonnet, green and red bell peppers, seasoning cubes, salt, vegetable oil, and water. Step 1. Peel the potatoes and cut into long strips. Add your potatoes into a bowl and sprinkle some salt. Add some oil to a pan, then fry your potatoes till crispy. Step 2. For the eggs, break your eggs into a bowl. Sprinkle some salt and beat the eggs. In a pan, add some oil and onions and fry for a bit. Add your bell peppers, scotch bonnet, and stir, then add your seasoning powder. Add the beaten eggs into a pan and mix the eggs and vegetables together. Arrange your chips into the pan and cover to cook for a minute. Flip the egg and chips to the other side to cook as well. There you have it, your chips in egg is ready to enjoy. That's a wrap on today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you enjoyed this culinary demonstration and trust you will try this recipe at home. Be sure to join me again for yet another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
All right, you're welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that yummy, delicious, mouth-watering, tasty, delicious, I would say, segment of Taste and Texture, chips and eggs.
Right.
And it's called Chips Pizza.
Pizza. Okay.
Delicious.
Sounds so sophisticated.
No. The way you're saying it, you're not saying it well. You're just why you have to reduce your voice.
Maybe I'm too accustomed to cocoyam and pepper.
Cocoyam and pepper.
Right.
But anyway, that's another method, the modern method, on how you can make chips and eggs. Sometimes you don't do things the same old.
Right.
You need to top it up a notch a bit.
Be innovative about this.
Be innovative and be specific. Once you're trying to aim at something to give that delicious feel when the eggs are there,
right.
The chips is there, and then you put the eggs and you bring it out and you cut into that pizza shape, and then you just give it a nice feel. I
can assure you that you're going to have an amazing breakfast.
Yes, you will.
All right, sir. Let's be democratic at this point in time with the time we have on the program, as we now turn to Ramsey Enoch Agbo, who is in a generous mood as always this morning, and he's bringing us heart-to-heart inspirational.
Hello and welcome to another moment of heart-to-heart inspirational. Let's talk heart-to-heart a little bit, because a lot of people have not been able to bounce back after the last time they failed. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Welcome to Heart-to-Heart Inspirationals. Failure is a feedback and not a funeral. I want to say that again because of people who failed. Some people fell and they remain on the ground. They never got up again because of what they feel people around them are going to say. But then failure is a feedback. And that's why some people will tell you all the time that whatever happens, all right, there is a lecture from every lesson. Whatever happens to you in life, there is something that you are meant to learn from it, either positively or negative thing that you need to take cognizance of and be watchful as you move on the journey of life. So I just want to tell you today that failure is a feedback and not a funeral. What kind of feedback did you get from that last failure? Have you even tried anything at all? Have you experienced failure before? If you've not experienced failure before, it means you need to try harder, because on this journey of destiny, people who are successful today are people who have failed a number of times and they got up on their feet, learned from their mistake, and their mistake became a stepping stone for them, and of course they are where they are today. Why? Because they never allow that failure to become a funeral to their dream. What am I emphasizing? As a matter of fact, let's normalize something today, all right? Let's normalize something today. A failure, you've heard about it all the time. Okay, this person is a failure, that person is a failure. People assess their counterparts, their neighbors, their brothers, their colleagues differently with different perspectives. Some persons already have been tagged as failure, and that has been affecting a lot of people. But then, have you accepted that you are a failure? That somebody told you are a failure does not make you a failure until you accept that you are a failure. All right, not because it feels good, yeah? but because it is necessary. Sometimes, it's risk. It's risk. If you have taken a risk before, and of course, it didn't go well the way you think it was going to go, and you failed, it doesn't mean that is a funeral. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again. I was speaking with someone a few days ago, and we're talking about a particular business. And the young man told me, now I am successful. But then, during my wilderness experience, when I was in the workshop, nobody knew anything about me. When I was failing over and over and over again, I lost money several times. I had to stay indoors and think of the next thing to do. He failed severally until he said, no, I am not going to allow this failure become a funeral. My dream is not going to be cut short by this failure. And he stood on his ground. Consistency. I must always emphasize consistency anytime I come up to speak to anyone on heart to heart, because it is very important. If you want to succeed in life, then consistency and discipline is very important. But the bottom line is this: nobody ever succeeds without first stumbling. Yes. You stumble, then you stand again. Even every little child, before a child starts walking, you stand them up, you see them, they walk a little bit, they fall. They walk a little bit, they fall until their leg gets stable on the ground. All right? And you see them walking firmly. Then before you know it, they start running. The same thing is applicable to life. So failure, as a matter of fact, is not proof that you can't. All right? It's not a proof that you can't do it. It's proof that you tried. It's a proof that you tried. When you fail, it means you tried and you failed. It doesn't mean that's the end. It reveals what doesn't work and refine what eventually would work later. That's what failure does. Anytime you fail, you know that, yes, this one does not work. Let me try the other one. It gives you a focus. It makes you know that, yes, if I go this way, I'm going to fail again. So I need to do something else. It's only a fool that do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. If you are doing one thing the same way all the time, you get the same result. You need to apply technicality, strategy, discipline, excellence every time. Whatever you do, let that touch of excellence be in your head. All right? So that when you fail in one thing, you try doing it the other way. But then don't allow that first, second, third, fourth failure be your funeral. Let your dream and your vision and your talent not be buried because you failed. Because that failure is trying to refine you. It's trying to build something in you. What do you have to do? I want you to know that failure, what it does is that it reveals what doesn't work and refines what eventually will work. But you need to have this mentality. Every setback is information. If you are willing to learn, yes, that's what it means. Every setback that you've had in the past is an information. Because there is something you need to learn from every setback, from every failure. Everyone throwing stones at you right now is because they know you are going somewhere. Let me tell you the truth. We have a lot of friendly enemies these days. Some people are smiling with you, but then they are not interested in your success. What they say behind you, if you hear it, hey, but then that shouldn't deter you. That shouldn't deter you because you have a destination. So every setback is information if you are willing to learn, because most people don't fail because they are incapable. That you failed, it's not because you are incapable, but because you are going somewhere, because you are dogged, because you are rugged, because you are determined, because you are focused, because you have a dream, you have a vision, something you are pursuing and something you want to get. You have a target. So when people like that fail, they fail because they don't stop. But if you stop anytime soon, it means that failure has gotten to you. Let me give you an illustration. For instance, a GPS recalculates when you miss a turn. It doesn't shut down. All right? Failure, in other words, simply means it's time to adjust. Anytime you fail, the message is, no, I need to adjust. This principle, this procedure, this formula is not working. I need to adjust. There is something I need to do so that I don't fail again. That's what it means. Anytime you fail, there is a message. It is telling you it is time to adjust the procedure. It is time to re-strategize. That's what it means. All right, so you don't need to abandon your journey because you failed. There is a practical mindset shift that you need to have, and this is it. Number one, stop attaching shame to failure. Yes, stop attaching shame to failure. Some people, when they fail, they feel shy. Oh no, I'm not going to get on that stage again. They will laugh at me. No, I'm not going to do that business again. People will laugh at me. People will mock me. The same people will celebrate and want to identify with you if you are a success. So there should be a mindset and a mind shift for you. Extra lessons instead of self-criticism. Stop criticizing yourself because you failed. Stop criticizing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people with other people because you failed. That you failed. Failure is not a funeral. Stop burying yourself in shame and criticism. Try again. Make it better. Make it wiser. Make it stronger. That's what it means. All right. Failure is tuition paid for future success. That is a quote that I'm bringing to you now. Failure, I said, is what? Is tuition paid for future success. But if you don't pay, if you go to school now, all right, 100 level, you need to pay a tuition. In 100 level, you get to 200, you pay another tuition before you can get to 300 level. In every of this level, there are tuitions to pay. If you want to change levels in life, don't be scared of failure. If you are scared of failure, you will never try anything good. So what you have to do? Keep pushing. Don't bury your dream because of one mistake that you made. I'll keep saying this. Learn, rise, and move forward. Don't worry about what people are saying. Don't worry about the situation around you. Don't think, oh, I have failed. I don't need to try it again. Keep trying. Change the strategy. Become wiser. Failure make you wiser. Because you walk through this way and you fail, you apply this strategy, this technique, this principle, this formula, and you failed. You will now need to re-strategize. Use another formula. All right? Until you get to your success. Until you get to what you want to achieve in life. All right. So you need to know that anytime you fail, it's a signal that you need to turn. You need to do something again. You need to re-strategize. You need to improvise. Come up with something new. As a matter of fact, failure is not the best option for you. So what you have to do? Try as much as possible. Right, to be sincere in everything that you do. Because if you want to please people, it will be disastrous. You don't need to please anyone, all right? You don't need to please anyone. It is when you're thinking about pleasing people that when you stumble, you say, oh, I've disappointed this person. I've disappointed even people who really love you, who want you to be successful. By the time you fail, instead of them condemning you, they will come and encourage you to do better. And that's the reason you need mentors. That's the reason you need people to talk to per time. All right? You need to talk to people. See, if you are embarking on a project, I emphasize mentorship all the time. I was speaking with a friend a few days ago and I told the person, if I want to do this thing you're doing now, it is going to be express for me. It's going to be easier. I may have hitches. There might be some times where you have losses or maybe failure at some point, but then you have people to ask questions. I have someone to ask questions. Hey, I got hooked here. What do I do? Even the disaster is not going to be as disastrous as it would have been if you never have anyone to guide you on this journey of destiny. You really need people, okay? Because as your association determine your acceleration in life, okay? And your friends, you need to be careful with the kind of friends you have. If you have a bad friend, it is disaster. If you have a good friend, it means you have a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to stand on and be tall so that you can get to that success that you are running after, that you are pursuing. Yes, congratulations, everyone. You are a success going somewhere to happen. Don't allow anything stop you on the way. Not failure, not criticism. Don't bury yourself because you failed. Failure is not funeral. Bye-bye for now and have a beautiful day.
All right, you're welcome back from that heart-to-heart inspirational with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Hope you were well inspired by that segment. Up next is the newspaper review segment, and we're going to start with the first paper of the day, and it is the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate, it says flood crisis. NEC slashes prevention fund by 50%, approves 83 billion naira, and that's on page 7. And at the side of the nameplate, it says police secure election materials across LG's local government areas, INEC ready, and that's on page 7. And it says here EU CSO launch real-time election observation hub, and that's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Now, the star story on the Punch says federal government raises 500 billion naira emergency security fund, and the rider says fund deducted from federation account ahead of May PAC meeting. And it says here DSS sacks ban on foreign funding of security operations. And the next rider, and it's still on page 2, it says here governors engage attorney generals on state police structure. And I would say that's a step in the right direction, right, Uyi?
I agree totally.
And on page 18 on the Punch newspaper, it says fraudsters rake in 134 billion naira from banks' customers, and that's from the Central Bank of Nigeria there. And on page 8, it says insecurity. APC knocks opposition, rejects Tinubu's resignation call. That's on page 8. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Punch newspaper. Go out to get yourself a copy and be well informed with issues making round. Next, we have the Vanguard. Over to you, Lee.
Okay, let's see what else we have here. I think what we have is the Daily Trust newspaper before the Vanguard. But let's take a look at the Daily Trust quickly. 3 headlines just immediately beneath the name as top right first. It says how Showore lost in his alleged rights violation against SSS, its DG. You'd find that story on page 12. Natasha's suspension, Riti Kingibe confirms forgery allegation. That's on page 10. State police must align with federalism, citizens' rights. That's according to governors. The Star headline says how my only daughter died in Kano school. Quite sad. You can see the pretty young lady there, the late Maimuna Sani, on the front page against the headline. Insecurity, government must be proactive. Retired generals are the ones to whom this story is credited. NEC approves 83 billion naira to tackle flooding, climate emergencies. Such funding must, of course, be measurable in the way it impacts those who are directly affected by flooding and other climate emergencies. Woman who allegedly killed grandmother unstable. That's what the family claims on page 30 of today's issue of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nigeria may sanction South African firms over xenophobia. That's Minister. There have been questions as to how the Nigerian authorities intend to respond. But now we're hearing there is the likelihood that South African firms here will be sanctioned. We'll see how that turns out. Meanwhile, you can read up details on page 8. Those are all the headlines on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper for you today. Do well to read up details as we turn to the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, now the Vanguard newspaper, above the nameplate, it says, oil slumps to lowest price since U.S.-Iran conflict, and that's on page 15. On page 36, it says, anxiety as 37 candidates battle for seats in Ekiti, Enugu, Rivers, Kano, others. On page 9 on the Vanguard, it says over 742 Nigerians in South Africa to be evacuated before June 30th, and that's from the federal government. And on page 9, it says Middle East war, U.S. lifts Iranian port blockage as deal comes into force. And the writer says, why I okay deal despite having different view, Kaminia. And below that, the Star Story says, insecurity, governor seeks swift establishment of state police. And I totally agree. And the writer says there's need for state police to be constitutionally sound and aligned with federalism and citizens' rights. State Attorney Generals to review proposed constitutional amendment framework for state police, and it says reiterate commitment to ongoing power sect for reforms. And below all of that on page 14 says federal government rolls out guidelines for transition to new tax regime. And writer says clarifies pre-2026 tax obligations. And on page 8 it says 950 rights activists, journalists, unionists disappeared in 2025, and that's from the United Nations. And it says here on page 8, we hear your security fears, federal government tells Christians. Okay. On page 37, and that's from Afenifere, it says insecurity, raising terror attack, threaten democracy. And of course, the Vanguard always has the Mr. and Mrs. column there. Go out and get yourself a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and be well informed with the issues making rounds. Next, we have the Nigerian Tribune.
And then we start from the top left corner of it. It says General Rabi's death, that's your kicker. Retired generals seek security reforms, back stronger community defense on page 3. Court sentences 3 terrorists to death as 2 get life imprisonment. Banditry, false security alert, says Kwara in panic mode. Ekiti poll, civil society organizations demand transparent, credible poll. Police map out security deployment in flashpoint areas to crack down on vote buyers. INEC moves sensitive materials to 16 local government areas. National Union of Road Transport Workers, Road Transport Owners Association of Nigeria, promised timely movement of election materials. Those, by the way, are the logistics partners of INEC. State declares today work-free, of course. All right, let's make progress, this time on the left corner of the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. All right. Says here, FARC, FG, states, local governments share 2.3 trillion naira for May. Obi demands transparency in government borrowing, cites South Africa as model. You can find your guide on page 21. Governors renew support for state police, demand constitutional safeguards. Back power reforms, National Solar Initiative to review proposed constitution amendments and legal frameworks for state police. NEC approves 83.2 billion naira to combat flooding, climate-related emergencies. The DSS seeks amendments to trust fund bill, kicks against foreign funding of security operations, apparently for obvious reasons. And then lastly, we take a look at some health for you. AI diagnoses brain tumors in minutes instead of weeks, say researchers. So why don't we explore that to the maximum? Page 21 is where those details await you on the Nigerian Tribune today. Please go read up details for yourself as you begin your glide into this weekend as we turn to the Guardian newspaper.
All right, now the Guardian newspaper, and below the nameplate on page 3, it says import surge. Nigeria pays 1.9 trillion naira on petrol in May amid dip in oil prices. And that's on page 3. And again, it says 2027, NDC exempts Obi Kwakoso from anti-defection oath. And that's on page 3, and you ask why.
Well, there are levels of distance.
Exactly.
Right.
Let's just see what this brings, basically. And on page 3, it says here, FG explains prisoner transfer pack with Ethiopia false list in circulation. And on page 6, it says International Day, 40% inaccurate false lab results worsen sickle cell epidemic pains. And yes, it does. And on page 5, it says 30,000 residents on free HIV care in Ogun, says Abiodun. On page 4, it says Senate NDPC push digital economy amid Cybercrime Act. And it says expert warns 30,000 communities risks flooding as NEC approves 83.2 billion naira intervention. And below that on page 29, it says violence, insecurity worsening household poverty reports reveal. And it says here Ekiti election over 1 million voters to decide as INEC distributes materials to 16 councils. And that's on page 6. And that is all the major headlines on the Guardian newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with the major issues making rounds. Next, we have The Nation.
All right, so we'll take a look at The Nation for you. One here with a picture of the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kayamo. It says with a kicker, Kayamo, why government is backing local airlines, new planes for United Nigeria. We must not lower guard in Ebola prevention measures. Who is saying that? Find out on page 6. Regional development commissions get guidelines. Eco Bridge requires 12 billion naira to avoid collapse, says Umai. So are we attending to that with the speed that it requires? Our governor's wives seek support for cancer patients, survivors. On page 6 is where you can read up details. DSS rejects foreign funding for security intelligence gathering. Secret Service seeks amendment to proposed bill. Governors perfect state police modalities. Yes, the governors met yesterday, and that was on the platform of the National Economic Council, where you have Vice President Kashim Shettima as the chairman of the council. APC targets total sweep of poll in Ekiti. All set for by-elections in Ondo, Enugu, Rivers, Nasarawa. Blockade of Strait of Hormuz lifted as United States Iraq signed deal to halt war. We understand that's one step in this victory lap. The second will be a 60-day window to continue negotiations on other aspects of this, what has become a debacle for a couple of months. But it's a good place to start from, all right? Read up those details on page 2 on the Nation newspaper today, as well as other headlines that we have presented to you. Let's move to the Daily Sun newspaper now.
Okay, now thank you, Uwe. Let's move over to the Daily Sun. And here it says at the side of the nameplate, it says notice of cover price adjustment. And you can read up that story there. And below that, it says state police should protect citizens' rights, align with federalism, and that's Governor's Forum there. And that read is on page 6. And the star story on the Daily Sun says ex-military generals Others seek decisive action against banditry. And they said that we spoke about this yesterday. I said, well, we called the chief of the service chiefs, chief of army staff, all of them coming and see how to forge ahead. To brainstorm and see how we can, and to say that we spoke about this yesterday. Now, question, negotiation strategy, federal government solicits media support. And that's still on page 6. And I think that's a step in the right direction. And it says, Awojale, throne, kingmakers nominate 5 princes, send list to Abiodun. And close to that, on page 23, it says, federal government approves 5 international routes for United Nigeria Airlines, Keyamo reveals. And on page 25, Senate forgery controversy deepens. And on page 25 again, it says Nigeria's 200 trillion naira debt lack clear impact. And that's from Obi. Go out and get yourself a copy to be well informed on the major issues making rounds on the Daily Sun. Next, we have the Daily Times.
Presidential Ebola Task Force urges vigilance against virus importation on the Daily Times newspaper. That headline has a picture of President Bola Tinubu. Nigeria's gas export earnings hit $2.53 billion, bolstering trade surplus in first quarter. And the star headline reads, xenophobic attacks, no Nigeria will be left behind in South Africa. Again, that's the federal government there giving reassurance. No school kidnap in my constituency, viral video fake. That's according to Blessing Agbebaku, the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly. Sirika violated due process on Nigeria air contracts, witness tells court. You know that case is still in court. Of course, it's Sirika versus the federal government of Nigeria, and the EFCC is prosecuting those allegations as we speak. Not so much on the front page of the Daily Times today, but it's not an excuse for you not to read up details anyway. Let's go look at the very last paper. That's our stopping point this morning, and it is the Business Day.
All right, the Business Day newspaper, not so much on the Business Day, and the Star story says, fresh bloodbath rocks North Central states on renewed insecurity. And of course, that's a very sad week there, and it's on page 38. We do not want any more bloodbaths, really. We do not want them, please. And it says here, NNPC's $1 billion Dangote bet is now worth $2.84 billion. And basically, those are all headlines on Business Day. How to get yourself a copy of the Business Day newspaper and be well abreast with the major issues making round. And on a note, Global Television or the Global Morning Crew have no impact whatsoever when it comes to the editorial judgment of these newspapers. They're brought to you just as it was printed on. So go out and get yourself a copy to avoid fake news and be well abreast with major issues making round. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. Global Morning continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning.
For the latest issues,
Always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
At Wichtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction, Wichtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Wichtech Cables, quality cables, better than the best.
At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Aerogym Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for staying with us here on the program. Like we highlighted a while ago, our first port of call this morning is looking at the sickle cell situation as it stands today. Today being World Sickle Cell Day, an opportunity to appreciate what the real elements are, and of course also see how much of inspiration we can draw from those who have been able to weather the storm, so to speak. So, like we also mentioned a while ago, a sickle cell warrior will be joining us via Zoom from London this morning to help us understand what the journey has been like, and then hopefully in the middle of all that we can find some insights in this regard. You know, Jumai, one of the things I've also noticed about sickle cell anemia is how that, I mean, when you talk to parents who have children who are anemic, so to speak, you hear the pain in their voice, and then there is the depletion that it causes in their pockets, in a manner of speaking.
Yes.
So when you look at it from that standpoint, one of the several things you're going to appreciate is the fact that it's not something you wish on even an enemy.
No.
Yeah, because I've seen parents who got distracted from work, practically didn't even have a life of their own.
Yes.
Just on account of the fact that they had to put in their all for their children who is sickle cell anemic. And the thing is, for most of those children, no matter their age, they always need help.
Yes, they do.
Yes, because of their situation, for no fault of theirs. All right, and you also look at their siblings. Their siblings have to do a little more, because you realize that you've got a sibling who has some sort of gap, in the manner of speaking, that needs help as well. So, it's a 360-degree kind of challenge with sickle cell anemia.
Yes, it is, and it's a very sad one. You know, I saw a video before all of this. There was a woman who came out and said, very hardworking woman, said, please, those of you, please do not. She was outrightly advising young individuals, don't marry if you've not checked your blood group. Don't say because of love you marry someone is SS and you say God will take control. Please don't do that at all.
By the grace of God.
Don't say by the grace of God. This is natural. You should not try it. She even gave herself as an example, and look at all her kids. She has 5. I think it's just 1 or 2 that is not sickle cell anemic. The others, she had to stop work practically. It took a toll on her health. It took a toll on her job. It took a toll on every single thing. There's just one of her daughters that is even supporting her at this point. All the other siblings are sickle cell anemic. It's taking a toll. The woman came out warning individuals, do not try, don't go into it. Please don't marry, don't even try it. Try as much as possible to avoid it as you can. Do the needful, the regular checks to know your blood type is very important. It can be avoided. And that's why I say we need more awareness. Media has a lot to play when it comes to this, because it has taken a lot of toll in families. People have died prematurely because of this. And it starts with that decision that you make to marry this individual and you decide to have children with this individual, coming together, not minding the fact that you are sickle cell anemic and the individual is also sickle cell anemic, which will definitely take a toll on the family at the long run. So it is actually preventable. We can actually, avoid it totally. But it's just unfortunate that this is where we are, and millions of individuals are living with this. So there's a way, I feel, now that we know there's so much awareness on how to take proper care, on how to balance this whole issue when it comes to sickle cell. It's really, really, really very, very sad, especially when you see them, you can't even stand it, the pain in which they go through. It's really, really sad. I think a lot needs to be done health-wise, especially in Nigeria here. You know what our healthcare is saying. It's nothing to write home about at the moment, and it's just unfortunate. But I always believe there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Of course.
But we cannot stop talking about it. You cannot talk about it enough. You need to throw in more awareness. We need to talk about it. Proper healthcare, proper support systems. Very important. Very important. And don't forget the stigma around it. Once someone is sick, you cannot know this one doesn't have strength. This one can't do this. You can. Although it's true, the person cannot work for long hours, stand for long hours, and all of that. Because when that crisis comes, it's something that you cannot even bear to watch. It's just unfortunate. But at the same time, hopefully the needful is done. Hopefully we get a cure now that we see artificial intelligence here and there and all of that. But, well, hopefully, fingers crossed.
We hope that happens very soon, because cost of medication is one very important factor. We will also be talking about this morning. I understand we are being joined from London via Zoom this morning by Kesena Ikeke, a sickle cell warrior. Kindly confirm, Kesena, that you've been able to join us successfully. Okay, as soon as we're able to connect with her, we will just get her on. But let's also talk about awareness, because that's another factor altogether. There's so much of assumption, there's so much of speculation, and then of course there's misgiving about sickle cell, and then there's stereotype, in society about all of these things. For example, it also means that beyond what the government should do and must do, there's the social aspect of it, the people, the community. Are we really communal enough to give sickle cell anemic people the support that they need? Because that's very important. We may not be able to give them money, we may not be able to do so much, but do we understand, in the real sense of the word, understand what they are dealing with? We understand that Kesena has joined us now. Kesena, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on this special day.
Good morning to you both. Can you hear me?
Very well, can hear you. Just go.
I don't know. I've been trying to use my iPad. I couldn't connect. The video didn't connect, and now I'm trying to use my phone. Hopefully this should work, because I use this a lot while on Zoom meetings. So I believe this is okay. So we can go from here.
We can make do with this. Again, we appreciate you joining us. My colleague, Jumai Manson, and I will spend the next 25 or so minutes with you to look at some of the elements in this conversation. But first of all, let's begin with the theme for this year. It says, closing the survival gap, equity in sickle cell disease. I mean, you are a warrior, sickle cell warrior, apparently. Help us understand the importance and significance of this year's theme.
Okay, so thank you so much once again for bringing me in this morning. It's a special day for me and for every warrior as well out there. It's not be easy. You know the struggle, the crisis we go through on daily basis is like one day one trauma, one day one problem. But this year's theme basically focus on bridging the gap between the local communities and the international community. It focuses on how we can work with the people at the grassroots, the local communities, and of course the international community, to make sure that we win this fight against sickle cell disease. Even though we know it's something that some say it will be difficult, because if you check at the rate today, statistics shows that uh, yearly, globally, you can see that the birth of sickle cell children is still on the rise. And so this is why today it's important for awareness. So this day specifically, the team focuses on awareness, education, especially at local communities. Thank you.
Because that's the front and center of this conversation, right? For the purpose of this discussion, we can say you have seen both sides of the coin. By that I mean you have lived in Nigeria, now you moved abroad. Talk to our viewers this morning, particularly those who are sickle cell anemic, about what those two experiences have been like for you.
I didn't get your question. Sorry about that. It's breaking. Can you take that question again, please?
Right, of course. I'm saying that in a manner of speaking, you have seen both sides of the coin. That means you've lived in Nigeria, now you've moved abroad. All right? Help our viewers understand, especially viewers who may be sickle cell anemic, about what those experiences have been like for you and the lessons you have learned from them.
Thank you so much for that question. It's like today I woke up with mixed feelings, emotions, and it's been a journey for me. Being a sickle cell patient, it's not a full blown sickle cell attack. It's not easy. Specifically, where in Nigeria, the battle was fiercer than here, I can say. Of course, you know that here at the developed countries such as UK that I'm currently at, it's not the same thing at home. But growing up was tough. That is the truth. It was tough. Let's face this. I had, growing up, the stigma, the pain, the recurrent crisis. And the thing about sickle cell is that it's not about sometimes you deal with the pain. That's one thing. Another thing you have to deal with, your emotions as well. Meaning how people perceive or receive you is another thing you have to deal with. So it's not basically about the pains alone. There's a way you deal with pain and people around you are, can make it easy as well. But when you live in a society where people do not fully understand what this blood disorder is, it becomes a problem. Now, in Nigeria, people just believe that, oh, she's having crisis, she'll be okay, but they don't know that even sometimes one will walk around, for instance, at workplaces, at home, you might want to do something and the next minute the pain is boom, is up. And then when you tell people or you begin to react or begin to change or begin to act somehow, it's as if, oh, what's wrong with her? This one with a crisis again. They make it seems as if it's just another pain that will just go away. No, some people survive sickle cell sometimes, but we've been aware, so we know the rate, of the global death of sickle cell so far, and so we know that it's something that is life threatening, and it's been a hard journey for me, especially talking about the stigmatization part of it. I couldn't play with people when I wanted to growing up, and people actually believe people like us, up to now, people still believe that people like us are cursed children. We are possessed. Some will call us Yogbanje, the local name. Some will call us marine spirits. Some will say we're witches and all that. Today your blood is finished. Tomorrow you need blood. And so I still believe that people in Nigeria still do not understand the some in Nigeria more awareness is needed or compared to here in the UK. Now here in the UK, research is ongoing. Awareness it's ongoing. Like today we have a community event, of course. And the thing is that these people that are even championing the cause here are not related to us, are not carriers as well. They don't even have the traits. And so it's quite interesting to see people that wants to see the end of this. People just want to know that, okay, this thing, what can we do? How do we put a stop to this? And so it's two different places I've been. Or I was in Nigeria, now I'm here. So it's a two different thing side of a coin. Here there is a deliberate, standard uh, arrangement for sickle cell patients, especially their citizens here. The government put a solid structure for them. You do not have sickle here at the hospital here at North Middlesex Hospital, North London. There's a sickle cell clinic, and so when you have that excruciating crisis, first of all, you just walk in there and they attend to you immediately. Now, you don't need the drama, you don't need the card, you don't need all that protocol, because they know that this is life threatening. Anything can happen. This thing, your blood can just go off, it can seize your heart, it can do anything to you, cause stroke, organ failure, and all that. So in Nigeria, it's tough, like I said, and there are medications that were being given here that I have never seen, I've never taken in Nigeria all my life. I got here, I got to find that. I was even asked, have you been taking this? I said no, and they were quite surprised. So I started it here. It's twice a day, daily for life. These also help your immune system to not to break down, because once your immune system is down, certainly you're going to have crisis. Now, but in Nigeria, we find out that even the folic acid people just believe is the folic acid we're supposed to take, which is very helpful to us. It's how many, if you can't afford it, if you can't buy it, then you can't take it. So it's a two different thing. Like here at home, it's the difference is quite much, and that's why we're doing this, campaign today. And I'm very glad to be here. Growing up was tough, was very challenging, especially when there are times, okay, at the time I was in the university, there are times you're alone, you have crisis, you can't call anybody, you struggle to stand up to open the door in case anything happen. At least your door is open. People mock you, people say a lot of things, even relationships have been broken. Family look at you and say she's just a problem child, she's a waster, and all that. So it's quite tough compared to here. The love, the unity, people hold your hands here, people believe you're going through prayer and they want to support. That is the difference. Thank you.
And we're very proud of you being a warrior, and you have survived that. We're really, really proud of you. Now, for individuals who are out there and wondering, can you describe the pain, or will I say the crisis? What's it like, so people can have a feel of what you all go through?
I smile because I tell you a story. I know we don't have much time. There was a time I was having this crisis. I think I just left the secondary school or so, and I was having this crisis. And then the nurse just hits me like, "Stop, you're shouting. Why are you shouting? It's you again. Calm down. I'm trying to give you your medication. Please calm down." And for some reason, the doctor had to fire. She was actually sacked, because the doctor now tried to explain to her that, you know, that what she's going through is more than a woman in labor. And so, just so you understand that she's not deliberately screaming, shouting, and all that. So, the pain is the highest pain I've seen in my life. Of course, I've experienced other pain, just like when you have toothache. I've had toothache many times. You know how excruciating that is, that you cannot sit, you cannot sleep, you cannot stand, you cannot walk. And so this is more like your bones are, grinding, or, your bones are like something is hitting your bone. And even at that time, if you're having crisis, sometimes when you touch it, for instance, I'm having crisis here, if you touch it, you feel it, like a crack bone or something that is there, that is cracked at that moment. So for me, it's the highest of pains. It's 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 something it's difficult to explain, but it's very excruciating. It's very painful, to the extent that you cannot sit, you cannot eat, you cannot sleep, you cannot stand. And that's why most time when we're in crisis, they tend to put us to sleep. And here, even in Nigeria, once you're in crisis, there's certain injection they will just give to you, and then it just calm down, and then you can sleep off. But the thing is that the moment you wake up, it's waiting for you. Except, of course, it's not a serious crisis that needs days or months to go. And so, but here in the UK, they will just come and give you maybe morphine or something immediately to just make sure that pain, first of all, calm down so you're able to breathe. Sometimes you're not even able, you struggle to breathe when you're having crisis. It starts painful. So something that wants to take at your breath. That is the kind of pain we go through as warriors. It's not so, except of course you're in the shoes, you understand a little, but I just do hope you guys understand what I'm trying to explain. That is the highest of pain that anybody is equivalent to more than a woman in labor. And so you understand when women in labor they shout, they cry and all that. That is similar to what we go through, just that ours is higher than their pain, and ours could take more than a day, a week, a month, and who knows, some don't even survive, some don't come out of it. But here we are today, and we are grateful for that. Thank you.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but it's a bit personal. But how do you balance work, life, relationships, family? How can you balance that, knowing that you're a warrior and you have sickle cell in you? How has that been? Has it been overwhelming? Has it been tired, especially when being in a relationship, someone that you need, someone that will have to carry you through? You're lucky enough, you're in London. I know of so many relationships here in Nigeria that it's not easy for that, when they find that special person to carry them through the crisis, midnight. It can be draining, and for someone that truly loves that individual, that alone, if he doesn't have the heart or the strength, he might just walk away. How has that been for you? Like, how has it been?
Thank you so much for that question. It's no longer news. The people that knows me very well, family, friends, also can testify to the fact that I have made some very critical decisions as regarding my life because of sickle cell. And so I just felt like I have to be selfish with myself. Having sickle cell, I will always put myself first. I don't want a situation where I will always compromise, knowing fully well that my life is at stake. Now, balancing family, work, relationships, and all that, and with sickle cell is quite very difficult and challenging. Like in Nigeria, before I've lost jobs, times where I had severe crisis back to back to back, and first I was giving query, first they laid me off, or we're going to call you, take time to rest and all that. So I've lost a couple of jobs at home, and that is why awareness is very important, to know that the sidelining at workplace is something we need to really focus on, talking about Nigeria as a country. And then family, some of us that have this full blown sickle cell, I have noticed that each time I'm in a relationship, it's easy for people to say, "Oh, I love you," and all that. Talk is cheap, of course. And then by the time you are in that state, in that crisis, in that one leg here, one leg here, you don't know what will happen to you next. I think people just develop cold feet on you. Sometimes they get really scared what the future holds, or the fear of the unknown, and then they start acting really weird. I've experienced one or two, and I told myself maybe relationship isn't for me. I will just be myself, do me, and of course make sure my health is top notch. My priority is me. And so that is how I try to balance my life, being a sickle cell warrior, and talking about relationship. I'm not saying every warrior should give up. If you find a special person, love is a beautiful thing. Friends, family, we need them around. It's not easy having sickle cell and then being all by yourself, especially when you're like at the age of you've left your parents, you're alone and all that. And that is why, if you compare UK and Nigeria, Nigeria in UK here, every sickle cell, I'm talking about their citizens now, every of their sickle cell patient have, there's a carer for them. So the government provides you a carer that is always looking after you, that is always there when you need them. They know that there are times that you can't stand up. You might go to bed well, you're laughing, you're watching film, and you wake up in the middle of the night, boom, as a crisis. And then I might be talking to you now, the next thing, my leg, and before you know, ambulance, emergency, and all that. And so that is why the government here deem fit and know that is a necessity for sickle cell warriors here to have carers that provide for them. In fact, they take care of them. I think they are all of them here. Their citizens are under universal credits where the government foot even the abuse, because they know that you going to work, if you want to work then you can work, but going to work, what if you continue, you have crisis back and forth. And so even here, for instance, I came in here, the sickle cell community will say, okay, if you need a note at the office, some kind of letter to say, okay, you have sickle cell. So sometimes you might just wake up and you are not at the office. They know that you're having crisis and all that. So these things have been put in place here. But in Nigeria, nobody will understand, especially if you work in the private sector. They will tell you, okay, what are we supposed to do with you not feeling well all the time? And so they just take that on you, instead of a system that has refused to do what is necessary or what is right for its citizens, or uh, the sickle cell patients and other related. We have other, people as well suffering here and there. It's not just about sickle cell alone, but today, of course, it's about sickle cell. So it's hard. Sickle cell has made me to really made some critical, tough decisions about my life. I have not find love easy or relationship very easy or blossoming. Especially, it might be very, colorful, and that time you have crisis one two times, they just develop cold feet, and that is what I don't want around my life. I don't want you to, quit on me. I rather just move before the time. And because I'm dealing with one thing very serious in my life, so I wouldn't want to deal with heartbreak or something that will not plunge me into where I'm trying so hard to get out from. And so that's another thing. And then family, of course, we try. I've lost my both parents, and I have siblings back in Nigeria, but then we're just holding on. We're holding on, trying to make sure that we live one day at a time. And so it's not easy balancing all this family, relationship, work, but we try to see, we live each day at a time, how it comes. And you wake up, pray that, oh God, today let it be a good day, let me not have crisis from nowhere. And so that's where, taking care of yourself comes into play. You know that this is not good for me, this will lead me into crisis. You must not do that, please. There are a lot of things you can do to stay off crisis. Maybe later we'll talk about that. But thanks, yeah.
Yes, I have another question to ask. I know you are blessed to be in the United Kingdom, and we have individuals here in Nigeria. And of course, for a mother who is out there listening to you, and she has her children who are sickle cell, what daily routine can actually help that child or an individual on a day-to-day life when it comes to diet, when it comes to what kind of foods can you eat? You've been in Nigeria, so you understand that we have basically poor healthcare system here. Hopefully it will get better. But what are the routines that can help that particular family or the individual? Routines, diet, what can actually help?
Thank you so much for that question. And so I always tell people with sickle cell anemia that I tell warriors anywhere I go to, I try to sound it, shout it so they can hear that. Now, in as much as we are looking for people to help us, I just want you to like ask yourself, I'm a warrior, I'm the carrier, what can I do for myself? Or I'm the mother of this child, I'm the parent of this child. What can I do for my child? And then how do you instill this habit into them while as they grow up so that they do not deviate along the line. Now, first and foremost, we know that sickle cell patients, something that can even help you while you're in crisis is fluid, a lot of it. While you're in crisis, injection, the blood, of course, if you need blood. But of course, injection medication will help you calm down the pain. But what can actually stop that pain as a matter of like a very short period of time is fluid. So taking fluid, drinking fluid, like a lot helps you as a sickle cell patient. We're going to talk about lifestyle. While growing up, I had to give up a lot of things because, as a child, you don't know that these things lead you into crisis. I think I was in JSS1 or so, JSS2, that at that time I began to understand that, okay, this thing, if I do it all the time, I fall sick even before my parent gets home. And so I noticed that I suffer after doing it. So I begin to understand that, okay, maybe if I don't do it, I will have to go through pain and I will suffer. So I started leaving things behind, a lot of things. So, for instance, when children play under the rain, you're in Nigeria, you know how fun that can be. You jump up, you're playing, rain is here, especially if you're not seeing a rain, if you have not seen a rain in a long time. I had to stop. When children go to the pool, weekend holidays, I don't go near the pool. And so these are some of the things you can just shift away from, you knowing fully where they will cause you crisis. But first, the question I ask sickle cell patients is that how can you help yourself before others will come help you? First of all, help yourself. Now, you drink a lot of fluid. You don't say, I tell sickle cell, even if you are, I don't say you shouldn't fast, of course, but even if you are fasting, drink a lot of fluid. It doesn't kill your fast. In the morning when I wake up today, I've drank a lot of fluid. The first thing I do even before I pray is to drink it. Drink warm water or any water you have. And of course, stay off, you know, anywhere there's mosquito bites. You have to sleep under the nets. You have to have nets in your windows, your doors. Here, I've not even seen mosquito. Truth be told, I've not seen mosquitoes since I got here. And I think that medication I said I've never seen in Nigeria that that I take here. It's part of this, so it helps you to fight any infections that will come into your system and then breaks your immune system down to not lead you into crisis. That is helping, I must say. But even aside, I take water a lot. Fluid helps. The kind of food you eat matters. You have to inculcate a lot of veggies for blood. It has to be a balanced diet. In as much as the economy is down, we are struggling to eat even 3 square meals. But at least you try to make sure. I know Nigerian yam, the African yam, is very good for us, sickle cell, sweet potatoes. You can, that doesn't cost so much. Even while I was in Nigeria, I eat that a lot. You just make it with water leaves and all that, put palm oil and you eat. It's very good for us, sickle cell. Of course, fruits. I do a lot of fruits as well, and I eat a lot of proteins as well. That helps. You need to eat liver, and all that red meat to make sure your blood, because we are sickle cell. One thing that really affects us is that you have crisis today, and the next day, boom, your blood is gone. I don't even know how that works, but I was just transfused some days ago here, and so sometimes you just see one to more crisis, and some are really bad that each time they have crisis you have to give them blood. And so you need to now start inculcating these things into your meal, into your diet, knowing that I need blood to survive, I need blood to function, I need excess of fluid. So you just need to find good food to eat. Like I said, the African yam, potato, meat, proteins, and a lot of fruits. I do take a lot of fruits. There are a lot of even in Nigeria we have the organic, like you can even just go and pluck. So that's something basic that we should eat. But I know also that um, while growing up, you I have to stay away from a lot of things. So mothers listening to me, children, young adults, you need to prioritize yourself to know that people are having fun. In school, I never attended rag days, bonfire nights, reading in the class at night, parties and all that, because you might jump with people and the next thing you're done and they are sleeping peacefully. I don't go to clubs. I don't go to, any kind of thing that will bring stress to you. So you just tend to like have a lifestyle. People in Nigeria know me in my environment, and as well as here in the UK, they know that you have a lifestyle. Her life is, somebody told me some days ago, your life is triangle or square shape. You go here, 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 and here. That is it. I'm not saying we shouldn't have fun. We can have fun. We're fun loving people, but the things that cause you crisis, at least limit them. I don't drink. You don't drink at all. Stay away from alcohol, because that is going to cause your body to get dehydrated, and then that's another problem, because you need excess fluid in your body. When we talk about World Sickle Cell Day, these are sickle cell, the cell itself, the normal cell is a round shape that has 100, like 100 to 120 days to live. But sickle cell is like, we already see the sign here. I don't know what I'm wearing, you can't see it, but we already know the sign of sickle cell, meaning that once these cells get sickled and then they block your blood vessels, you cannot, and that will definitely restrain the blood flow, and that is where heart attack, kidney failure, stroke comes in, where we have crisis. Now you need fluid to make sure you flush them. That is why we need this excess fluid each time. So you can't say in sickle cell, people drink water when they feel tasty, but sickle cell, we drink water to stay alive. We drink water like back to back. These are some of the things that parents can do to make sure that stay out of cold, stay out of excessive heat as well. We need oxygen. That is why when I get on the flight anytime, I must have crisis, except of course I'm traveling with oxygen and I'm stretching my legs throughout the journey or lying down. So you have to stay out of cold, you have to stay out of excessive heat, you have to stay out of anything tension. And I tell people most time I have crisis when I have something, maybe you tell me a bad news or I'm expecting something, I start breathing very fast, I am agitated. It brings crisis. And also somebody, I have issues with somebody, I quarrel, I fight with somebody, it brings crisis. So I don't try to get sad. Whatever happens, I think the only time I got really sad was when I lost my mom, and that broke me totally. I got back to, thank God I came back to the UK after the funeral. I would have died. I knew that if I wasn't here, and of course if not for God as well. So it was terrifying. So these are kind of the things that gives you crisis. That is why I said earlier that once I see a relationship, a man is trying to give me headache, I move before you even notice it. I don't want trouble for me. So you need to let your children know that they should not, the stigmatization is another thing. As a child, people will tell you things that will make you want to be withdrawn, hidden, stay in a dark place. No, you need to tell these values to your children as they grow up, sickle cell children, that nobody can shift you, behind the door. It's not possible. These are some of the ways that we can, we keep living with sickle cell rather.
I think this is a good place to leave it. But as we make progress today and the days that follow, we do hope we're able to close the survival gap while we pursue equity in sickle cell disease. Just to also highlight that Nigeria ranks top on the global burden of sickle cell disease across the world. That's not a good place. 150,000 babies are born with sickle cell on an annual basis, a very disturbing piece of statistic. 40 million Nigerians have sickle cell traits. 40 million in a country of just a little over 200 million. I mean, going by some very speculative statistics that we have in this part of the world. And lastly, experts are now advocating mandatory newborn screening, standardized testing protocols. Like Jumai mentioned, you have a blessing in your life to have been able to be in an environment where at least healthcare services are optimized. Exactly. And we hope that every other person who is a warrior like you would be able to enjoy access to similar facilities and resources. We'd like to say thank you to you this morning, Kesena, for joining us all the way from London on this day where we are creating awareness about sickle cell. We do hope you have an amazing day today regarding all the activities that you have lined up.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
It was really, because there's nothing better, nothing more incisive, nothing more inspiring than hearing directly from those who are quote unquote on the front lines.
Exactly. And you we would not understand. She had to break it down to us that the pain is more bigger than a woman who is in labor. Right. So that's something. So we should understand the pain. For men will not understand, but women will understand. But when you see a woman standing by next to you and screaming in pain, you understand that it's serious pain indeed. Right. All the warriors out there, we love you all, and I hope that God will continue to strengthen you, and the needful is done when it comes to support, when it comes to strength, and many more awareness when it comes to this particular issue of sickle cell.
Right. Well, let's bump in on another break at this point in time. When we return, we'll turn our attention to issues that are a bit more domestic to us, and then we'll talk about the social-political states of our country. Do stay with us, everyone. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
At Wichtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Wichtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Wichtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
Well, thank you for staying with us, everyone. Let's turn to our second discussion this morning, which focuses on the socio-economic or socio-political state of Nigeria today, especially as we are inching closer by the day to the 2027 general elections. This morning, we're joined by Musa Kura, who is the president of the Auctioneers Association of Nigeria. He's a businessman and a socio-political commentator. Thank you so very much for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Incidentally, you were here a while ago, and we did talk about the state of the nation, even though time was extremely limited. But today, hopefully, we have enough time to trash some of these issues. As it stands right now, for obvious reasons, insecurity, economic hardship, uncertainty, an election that has become controversial, we are now hearing calls that President Bola Tinubu should resign. Is that not a bit extreme? Is that not unnecessary for a man who has been elected to provide leadership for the country, especially at a time such as this?
Well, let me start by saying a very good morning to all Nigerians, and especially those that are watching this program this morning. There's no saying that we are in a very bad situation in this country as of today. And if you could remember, the last time I was here, I told you guys that I don't actually know what is happening with that house called the Villa. I think there is something sinister there. Because I've never seen anybody that goes into that house and come out the same. You must come out with some bruises. Now, you can, based on the question you asked right now, I cannot imagine, with all the things that is going on in this country, with all the hardship, with all the insecurity, we can't even hear from our president. What's going on? As you said, I know what I did to get him into that house.
In your personal capacity?
In my personal capacity. He doesn't know me, I don't know him. But I know him because he's a public figure. Right? I took it upon myself. I have 2 platforms. Even before, we started it in around 2010. The name of the platform was Buhari Tinubu 2011. Some of the members of that group are late now. But our vision at that time is that to pair between Buhari and Tinubu in 2011. But it didn't happen. Right? Now, after that I created another platform called Asiwaju Vanguard. You can Google it, you can see it there. Why do I have to do that? Because I have confidence in Mr. President. I believe he has all it takes to govern this country. But I'll still say it. Unfortunately today, the reverse is what we are seeing. For whatever reason, I think it is imperative for him to come out and talk to the people of this country. At least let them know his stand about some of these things. But nobody is hearing anything from the president. And as you said, the economic situation is bad. Too bad. It's in a bad shape. Nobody is, we don't have to tell anybody, because everybody is feeling it in his body. When you come to insecurity, you know what it is. You are not safe anywhere, even in Abuja here. So, as an admirer of the president, as somebody that work assiduously to make sure that he get elected, I think I have the right to speak. It's not that I'm against the president, no. But I think it's within my right to talk that Mr. President has to wake up. He was voted into office because a lot of people feel he has the capacity to do it. That is the reason why people came out en masse and voted for him. Why is he trying to disappoint people? This is the same route that the late president went through. And a lot of blame was laid on the people that surrounded him. Are we going to, is it the same cabal issue? Is it the same cabal issue?
Don't you think there's a cabal in this government like we had with the...
Of course, you don't have to. You know that and I know that. We are both Nigerians. This is the reason why I am saying I don't even know what is happening in this country, in that very house. I know somebody is a close friend of mine that is very close to the president. We were discussing some time ago, and he was complaining to me that this is not the same person he knew. He said he's not the same person he knew. So we have to begin to ask ourselves, what is actually happening in that place? Is there something in there that is, once you get there, you don't even know what you are doing or what? Is it the same issue of cabal or whatever you call them that is happening? If not, I want to know one reason why, up to this moment, the president could not address the nation about what is going on.
But he did that on Democracy Day, just last Friday.
Come on, is that enough? I'm asking you, is that enough? People need you have to convince people. Not that every day you come out and say the better times are coming. When are they coming? When is the better time coming? When? I have been voting. I don't want to even go back. From 1999 to date, I've never failed to vote. Even if I have something doing outside this country, I will refuse to go. I must vote. Because I want to make an impact. And my vote is my right. If I don't vote, I don't think I have the right to complain. But somebody like me, I'm paying my taxes every year, and I am voting anytime there is an election, and somebody will tell me that I don't have the right to complain when things are going bad. No, I'll speak. And as I told you, as an admirer of the president, I am still going to tell him that something is wrong somewhere. He has to come up.
As it stands today, there are people. Okay, I think Juma has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. You know, there's so many Nigerians who are like you, who will tell you and say that no matter what, they are patriotic, they will vote.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't matter. But what is the president doing wrong that is not making headway when it comes to this particular issue in the economy?
This is a question that everybody is asking.
What is the way forward then?
They have to find a way forward, not me. I am not elected into that office. Did you understand? As a leader, I'm a leader of my own association. Now, if anything goes wrong with the association, the blame comes to me. No, there is no doubt. I have to take the blame, whether I know about it or I don't know about it. The buck stops on my table, so I have to take responsibility. This is what we are saying. If you begin to ask me what is the way forward, it's like I am the one there, and I'm not. This is the same question I am also asking. What is the way forward? Because we are stopped. Whether we like it or not, we are stopped. So they are the ones to tell us what are they doing to get us out of this mess. Who put us into this mess?
But it's not a mess. There's not a man wanted a bad situation, especially with regards to the
No, don't even go there. Don't go there because it will not fly. So we don't go there. If I know there is a bad situation and I come and campaign, that I have the capacity to put things right, to repair what has been spoiled, do I have any excuse?
But they say, well, I have any excuse. President at the time, so he didn't have full knowledge of how
it will not fly, Mr. Wee. It will not fly. Don't even go there. He campaigned, and have you forgotten so soon? What did he say during his campaign? That if he could not repair or make sure that we get light constantly in this country, he should not be voted in. What's happening now? Maybe you guys are on the generator now.
But let me ask a question. Someone would say that we keep apportioning blame to Mr. President. Everything is when he has already delegated individuals to actually try as much as possible to come together on the round table for these issues to be solved. Would you say that he doesn't have the right people around him?
Do I have to tell you that he doesn't have the right people around him? If he has the right people around him and the right thing is being done, will anybody complain? That means he has to look inward and see what's going on wrong with his cabinet. It's as simple as ABCD. He has to look inward and see what's happening. Because people are complaining. Go outside and see what is happening. People find it very difficult to feed. Not to talk of any other thing. To feed. Go and see what people are going through. It's not hidden. But let me tell you one thing. And I stand by it. I still say that something is wrong with that very house called the villa. Do you understand? Probably the president will not even see what we are talking about right now, because they will not even allow him to watch.
So it's not even so much about President Tinubu as it is about the system itself.
Yes, regardless that's what I come to realize. That's what I come to believe. Because when Buhari was there, despite all the efforts, may God bless his soul, despite all the efforts he made, he has to give up. He has to give up. He could not control the situation. And I believe this is the same thing the president is facing now. If you put somebody in a ministry, of course you have to be monitoring what is going on in every ministry. You don't have to know what is happening. No, you are a human being. You have limitations. But why do you have the ministers? Why do you have a cabinet? They are the ones you delegate for them to go and take care of things for you. And you have to devise a mechanism that you be monitoring whatever everybody is doing. Like we are talking now, probably even if he does not have the time, which we have to be fair to him, he might not have the time to watch. Does he have the time with all the quantum of problems in this country? Does he have the time to be watching TVs or reading newspapers and the rest? But he has somebody that has to do that. That will always go and tell him that this is the problem in this country. This is what is bad. This is what is bad. From there, he take initiative on how to mend things. But you never know what is going on. People like me have been going to so many for us to speak, so that he will listen. If a lot of things is going on, if I tell you some of these things now, you'll be very, very surprised and disappointed. Some ministers are doing, once you appoint somebody as a minister in this country, the ministry becomes his personal property. Some of them, even if they are traveling out of the country, they don't hand over to the PAMSEC or anybody. Everything has to stop until they come back. This is exactly what is going on. A lot of scandals now going on everywhere. And the fact is, are you expecting the president to know whatever is going on?
Of course, like you say, he's a human being.
He's human.
Yeah, he has his own limitations.
He has his own limitations. Do you expect him to know everything that is going on in this country? No. But he delegates some people to do it. What are they doing? I can tell you a lot of things that I know firsthand, and it's scandalous. It's scandalous. I don't know if I always want to excuse somebody. I don't know if the president is aware of some of these things. And those that are supposed to advise him appropriately, they are the ones he appointed in sensitive positions that are supposed to take care of some of this scandal that is going on, are complicit. They are part of the problem. They are part of the problem, I can tell you that. But I have an advice for Mr. President. He still has my respect. But I have to tell the president that time is running out. People have started revolting. Don't forget that just a few weeks ago, there was a protest in there. Who are the leaders of the protest? It's his own people. It's his own people. It's the same tribe with him, and they came all over and converged in Abuja, and they are protesting bad governance. It's not news. It is not news. Everybody is aware of that. So if it will start from his own side, what do you think? What are you expecting? An election is just by the court. Before you know, we'll be there. So I want to know how they will approach people, because in any way, in whatever anybody is thinking, the president must have to come and face the people again.
Right.
He has to come and face the people again. He wants to be re-elected. So he has to come and face the people again. That is when he has to come and, we want to come and listen to what he's going to tell us. As I'm talking to you, my voter's card is on me. Anywhere I'm going, I move around with my
I'm not going to ask you who you're voting for.
Exactly.
No, I'm not saying, I'm only saying that
you are prepared for 2027.
Inshallah.
See, you are prepared, but other Nigerian citizens who are out there who are patriotic, but with all of this economic hardship when it comes to transportation, inflation, unemployment, everything encompassed, do you think is going to affect the turnout of 2027 election?
You see, for whatever reason, or for whatever situation you can think of, people must come out and vote. Because that is the only reason you have to complain.
Most people don't see it like that. They feel let them do whatever they
I think Juma is actually referring to the possibility of apathy.
Yes,
of course, you can't write that off. You can't write that off, apathy.
Right.
You cannot. It is when you are you telling me when you are hungry, somebody will convince you to go out and say you are going out to go and vote? When you are hungry? The apathy issue is part of the problem. But the issue is, I think we are not looking at the situation the way we're supposed to look at it. People are, I don't know, you see, the problem we Nigerians, I don't think we are serious people. I don't think we are serious people. Whatever is happening to somebody that you are seeing, if you don't take care of it, one day it will happen to you. In those days, where do we know about bandits? Is it not in Indian films at that time when we used to watch and we see what is called bandits? They come. This is what we are saying. But today, we are there. We are there today. Banditry is fully with us. And what I am saying basically, it could be in the north now. You never know where it's going tomorrow if we don't take care of it. And the most surprising thing is everybody has gone to sleep, especially the governors who are responsible for all these things. The governors. I don't hear any governor talking about what is going on. I don't think I hear any governor talking about what is going on. And it's their primary responsibility. Security. That is why they were voted into office.
But do you think sorry to interrupt, but do you think they see it as an issue when it comes to insecurity, or they are more focused on the 2027 election? Because that's what everyone is even talking about, even our president.
No, Jumai, let's
a lot of people will tell you that is the focus now of everyone, governors.
That is why there is a lot of confusion around.
And that is why insecurity is still at a halt.
Of course, it's really a big deal right now. Because there is a lot, the politicians are, let me tell you, I'm not going to single anybody out. They are all confused. All of them.
Including the state governors.
All of them. I'm telling you, all politicians in this country today, as of today, they are all confused.
But it appears the opposition politicians have a bit of clarity because they have been the ones
clarity of what?
And providing some sort of alternative.
What sort of alternative?
Well, they are saying that the president should politic less and to deal squarely with the problems the country is grappling with.
Everybody is saying that. Am I not saying that? Am I a politician?
So you're saying there's nothing special about whatever the opposition is saying?
What are they really saying? I don't understand, Mr. Wee. What are they really saying, the opposition? When they are facing, they are challenging themselves. Everybody wants to see the back of everybody. Tell me one political party today that is not facing one problem or the other within. Tell me one opposition party today. The ruling party, that one, they have their problems, you know. You also know.
Right.
The primaries that took place up to this, maybe today, I don't know. But as of yesterday, I don't think anybody is issued with certificate of return. And the primaries have taken place.
Are you referring to a particular political party?
This is what I'm saying, the ruling party.
So you're saying charity begins at home?
Of course. If they have issues within them now, the ruling party,
right,
go and find out. You are a journalist. Go and find out whether anybody has been issued certificate of return. And the primaries is about 2 weeks now.
Behind us.
Behind us. Or even 3 weeks. But up to this moment, I don't know. But from what I'm hearing, then nobody has been issued with certificate of return. And they have announced winners all over the place. But still they have issues that they could not solve. This is the ruling party. So when we are talking about the opposition, if the opposition, they are not organized, look, we are in big trouble. We have to know. And it's up to us to take care of these issues. And how do you take care of these issues? We have our voters card. Me, inshallah, if I'm alive, I'll vote. I'll go out and vote as usual. Because I still have the firm belief that that is my right. And if I don't vote, I have no right to complain. Whatever is happening, I don't have the right to complain. But when I vote for you, I have the right to ask you questions. What's happening?
What is your account?
Yes. Because I have a reason for voting you. And my reason is I have confidence in you. For us to say we are going to turn back and start looking backward, no. It doesn't work that way. If you are saying that he inherited problems, what does he expect? Are you telling me that when Buhari was going into office, did he campaign to us that he didn't know what he's going to meet there? No. No. He feel he has the capacity to take care of things. And same thing goes to everybody that comes to campaign for us, that he wants us to vote for him. He must look at the whole thing holistically, and he must sit down with his team, and before he even goes out to campaign, they must have scanned the whole problems that the country is facing and get prepared and have solutions that when we get in there, we will solve these problems. We have already seen what is happening and we have the capacity to do it. And people entrusted you with that responsibility. Do you have any excuse? Tell me if you have any excuse.
The president has a video out there now where he was apparently saying that, look, that was the pronoun he used, they are trying to force me out with insecurity. When you watch that video, you listen to the president, does that not sort of indicate that some powerful political forces against the president, especially in light of 2027 general election?
Okay. Is that not an indictment to himself? Tell me. Is he not indicting himself? I want to know. Who is the most powerful person in this country?
Well, they say in theory it's the president, but they are powerful individuals who are influencing the direction of things.
I always try to caution you about going to such kind of places. He's the most powerful.
So you're the one leading me there?
No. I'm not leading you there. I'm trying to persuade you not to go there. Because you just go and enter a trap. You don't do that. I will advise you not to don't go there. Every security apparatus in this country is under the president. True or false?
True.
True, of course.
So
you said the president has failed, hopefully, in that regard?
No, I'm not going to. You see, don't put words into my mouth. I'm not saying that. I'm only asking you, is there any security apparatus in this country that is not under the president? Tell me one. Tell me one. Everything is under him. He has the control. The button is in his hands. He can move anybody day and replace him with anybody he wants.
Including the service chiefs, of course.
Who is the service chief? We are talking about president. You are talking. Who appointed the service chiefs?
But we are seeing service chiefs change time and again, and those changes have really
This is what I am saying. Is it just to change? Does that solve the problem? No, you have to. You see, let me be very frank with you. What I come to understand as a businessman is that in whatever, if you want to succeed in business and politics, you have to dictate in order to succeed.
To dictate?
In order to succeed. In business and politics, you have to dictate in order to succeed.
But is that leadership by example, though?
I don't know how you are going to call it, but if I put you in a position of responsibility, you are answerable to me. And if I find out that you are not doing the right thing, I do away with you and get a competent person that will take care of the place for me. But what I am saying now, why is it that in the course of the security situation that we find ourselves in and the economic situation that we find ourselves in, why is everybody blaming the president? Why? Because he's in charge. And he is the one that campaigned and said we should elect him, that he can do it. So we have to hold him responsible. This is a simple truth that everybody needs to know. The president needs to know that for whatever happened in this country, we held him responsible. Because we voted him into that office. But there are, as I said, I don't think it is possible for the people around him maybe to allow him to be seeing these kind of programs where some of us will tell the president, because of the love we have for him, we tell him what is happening in the country so that he can wake up. I've been to so many programs and I talk to the president directly via this kind of medium. But I have never had an answer. I'm not looking for attention, no. As I said, and I still repeat that I voted for him. I didn't do just only that, I campaigned with my own personal.
You pay your tax?
I pay my tax. But put that if the records are there, anybody can go and check whether Musa Okoya is paying his taxes or not. The records are there. What I am saying is that
you put your personal resources.
I put my personal resources. Tax, that one is compulsory for me to pay. It's mandatory for me to pay.
Whether you like the president
Whether I like the president or not. You understand. But what are they doing with my own money that I'm paying?
Question mark.
That's what they call the taxpayers' money. I'm paying the tax because I want to see improvement in the country. If not, why should I be paying my tax? And I'm not seeing anything. And I'm asking a question now, is it within my right to ask question or not? I'm paying my tax. If the records in the federal revenue is, or any state revenue if they have record, they should go and check. And when it comes to voting, I am staying in Abuja, but I will have to leave my house somewhere to come to my voting center.
Right.
To come and vote. And I just don't only vote. When I vote, I I have to wait until they close the polling. I will follow it up. I will make sure it gets to where it's supposed to go, and they will count it in front of me. That is what I do. And that is what I have done in regards to the president. If the record is anything to go by, anybody can go and check whether I have done that or not. And why do I have to do that? Because I have the confidence in the president. But if you ask me now, if I tell you in where I have my office complex, there's one guy they call Alpha. He's into these aluminium windows and those and everything. Do you know what they changed his name to Tinubu? Myself and him now, inside that plaza now, when we go here, that's how they are booing us.
Because of the support for the president.
Because of the support for the president, and we campaign assiduously for him inside that. It's a big plaza. We have about 180 shops there. Where my office is. Alpha and myself are laughing stocks now. If they have to tease us, they say, look at your government.
Are you a member of the APC?
I'm not a member of any party, but I vote.
Because, like you said, your confidence in the president.
Of course. Do I have to be a member of APC to have confidence in the president?
But what is that confidence? Sorry, Juma. What he had done as governor of the state?
Of course, not only that, in terms of business, he works. Do you remember he worked with Mobile before?
Right. And Deloitte.
I mean, the exposure.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I feel he has the pedigree to navigate us through the water.
So you think 3 years down the line, he has had enough time to have proven himself? Is that what you're saying?
Of course. Is 3 years not enough for you to prove to people that voted for you that you can do it? Is 3 years, how many years do you want?
Well, I think the president is in the best position.
Exactly. That's why he wants a second term. He wants to prove himself.
Are you guys serious?
I think Juma is basing our position on the president's rhetoric. Saying that he has been laying the groundwork, he needs to consolidate.
Sorry, you see, I am not surprised.
It's actually Juma's question.
Juma can afford things. So she can afford to.
Right. So you're saying she's not affected by this reality?
Yeah, she affected. She affected.
No, she doesn't. Holy, don't put me on the spot.
Nobody is putting anybody on the spot. But of course.
We're all together in this.
Are you among us?
We are together. We are all together. And that is why I'm saying, how can trust be rebuilt? How can the people, citizens, you and I now, have that trust in this present administration ahead of 2027 election? Not just this administration, other political parties. How can
you see? There is a saying in Hausa. Mr. Lee, do you speak Hausa?
I'm learning. I can't brag yet.
No, come on, shame on you. You mean Juma with all they are working with Juma and you can't speak Hausa?
Well, I have not worked with Juma to learn Hausa from her.
No, I would not buy that. But let me tell you, there's a saying in Hausa that says, so you take one jump and enter into trouble. You do 1,000 jumps before you come out of that trouble.
So it takes longer to come out against.
It's easy for you to jump into trouble, but to come out of it is easy. But the president still have some time
to redeem himself,
to prove to people that he can do it. Because this is the right time for him to wake up, irrespective of whatever anybody is thinking, irrespective of whatever anybody is telling the president, of whatever the president is thinking of, he still have to come and face the people of this country.
Right. And
tell them, this is what I have done for you for the past 3 years or 4 years. I want to consolidate on what I have done. So please vote for me again. And we are waiting. Not only him, even the governors and all the people that are aspiring to be something in this country, because everything is in a mess
right now.
Of course. Tell me what the National Assembly are doing.
Well, they are reconvening
exactly.
Now. They are supposed to be in recess.
Exactly.
They deliberate on the issues around insecurity.
Which is a major problem.
The problem is, are we all confused in this country? I know there was a video trending in this country. A senator was saying that very soon they have to start walking around with helmet, because if care is not taken, they will get the beating of their life from their constituents.
Right.
And he gave example that it happens in Zamfara, it happens in Katsina, and it happens maybe in Sokoto or Kano.
So it's likely going to happen across the country?
So it's likely going to happen. I'm not the one saying, the video is trending. He's a serving senator.
Right. So yes, how bad things have become.
I am not saying that is how bad it is. That is how bad. It's not me saying. It is, you know it and I know it. Jim may know it. That is as bad as that.
Incidentally, again, this is where the program normally ends, Alhaji Musa Kura. But these are all ongoing, developing stories, quite frankly. And elections are months away. God's keeping us alive. We're going to bring you back time and again, so we can continue to assess.
And anytime, I can promise you, anytime you bring me here or anywhere they invite me to come and hold an interview, I will still say it. The people of this country have confidence in the president. That is why they put him there.
Yeah.
And things are going bad and they need an answer.
And we do hope the president will provide that answer early enough. Thank you so very much.
Because 2027 is just by the corner.
Of course it is. Musa Kura is a businessman, socio-political commentator, as well as the president of the Association of Auctioneers of Nigeria. He has joined us here this morning to help us find signs regarding the developments in our dear country. That's our program for you today. Remember, as always, that the views of all of our guests across all of our programs are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you again, Alhaji Musa Kura, for being a part of the program.
The pleasure is always mine.
All right. Have an amazing day ahead. And from Uyi and I, we say bye-bye.